I don't wanna say anything, cause if I do I might say the wrong words. Oh no. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Can we find what we're missing and compromise? So I'll keep my shoes on and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can we find a single reason not to say goodbye? Oh, if I said what's on my mind, would you stay with me tonight? If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. Oh, would that make you run and hide? Don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of options, nothing's working. I'm out of service. Come help me now, I'm fucking nervous. I'm trying but can't scratch the surface. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Can we find what we're missing and compromise? So I'll keep my shoes on and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can we find a single reason not to say goodbye? I don't wanna say anything, cause if I do I might say the wrong words. Oh no. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Can we find what we're missing and compromise? So I'll keep my shoes on and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can we find a single reason not to say goodbye? Oh, if I said what's on my mind, would you stay with me tonight? If I said
Everybody out there, all my MDK gang members out there, go check out Cold TV. I checked it out myself. That shit's dope as hell.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60, where we recap everything that happened this past week in the world of professional wrestling. And yes, as you can see, I am flying solo this week on PW60. Mr. B-Roll out a little bit under the weather, so we wish him well. But you know what? In the world of pro wrestling, there is always so much going on, and we've got a lot to cover on this episode. So that being said, let's get right into it. And as Mr. B-Roll would say, the clock starts now. And our top story this week is Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling held one of their biggest shows of the year, Grand Princess 2026. And I got to tell you, this show, I had the privilege to watch this show yesterday on the Wrestle Universe app. If you haven't done so, go check it out. It's a phenomenal show from top to bottom. It really is the best way I could describe like TJPW and how magical and special it is, because like it has amazing wrestling, Some big moments happened on this show. Also, it captures the essence of like the comedic aspect of TJPW. A lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. And of course, everybody's talking about the main event, the match for the Prince of Princes Championship with Mio Watanabe putting it on the line against Yuki Arai. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Prince of Princes champion. It is Yuki Arai, has done the unthinkable and has defeated Mio Watanabe as your new Prince of Princesses champion. I was really happy with this because if you look at the landscape of TJPW, really kind of like over the past couple years, it's really been just like the kind of like the same 2 or 3 competitors, which are phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but it's cool to see a fresh face in there. Which, if you think about it, when if you watch Japanese wrestling, usually it's a lot longer climb to get into this spot. But nonetheless, we got a new Prince of Princesses champion in Yuki Arai, a first ever title shot for her, and this was the first time going one-on-one against Mio Watanabe. So, an incredible back and forth match. I mean, my gosh, I gotta say, Yuki Arai has like one of the best sharpshooter Scorpion Deathlocks I've seen. Like when she gets that and bridges on it, it is devastating. And there was a couple times throughout this matchup where she had it on Mio, and I thought for sure she was going to tap out, but Mio had an excellent last stand towards the end of this matchup where it looked like she was going to maybe come back, but it just wasn't quite enough. And as I said, Yuki Arai is your new Prince of Princesses champion. This matchup was incredible. And by the way, it's our match of the week here on PW60. And my camera went out because we're live, pal. Bear with me just a moment as I go into my settings. I'm just a ghost here talking about TJ PW. Bear with me just a moment, folks. We'll get right back in here. We're going to switch over our camera because it's being a bitch. But I'll tell you what's not a bitch is watching TJPW. So, there we go. All right. So, sorry, high definition not working on my camera. I'll try to get it going here in a little bit. But we got a lot more to talk about, especially on this show, because in a shocker, we've got new TJPW Princess Tag Team Champions as the Inspiration. Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay showed up in TJPW, making their debut, and right out of the gate, they are your new Prince of Princesses Tag Team Champions as they defeated the beloved team of Uber Eats of Wakana Yare and Yuki Kamafuki. This was a great matchup. I was really shocked with the outcome because I mean I know we all know the Inspiration, but if you watch TJPW, man, the Uber Eats was freaking over, man. They're one of like the best tag teams going. I mean, their rise to get to the top was so fun to watch. But I don't think this is the end for them by any means. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and call my shot now and say it. When we get to TJPW in Vegas, I think the rematch is going down, and I think Uber Eats is going to get their belts back. But this was a tremendous matchup. But what a moment, too, for the Inspiration. If you think about it, these gals, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, they have dominated literally everywhere they've went. Former WWE Women's Tag Champions, former Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Of course, they're currently in All Elite Wrestling. Could be future AEW Tag Team Women's Champions. The Inspiration has had an incredible run, and I got to tell you, this was another notch on their belt and a pretty cool, amazing thing to go into a Joshi promotion, especially like TJPW, in your first match with them and to walk out as the tag team champions was very impressive. So, but like I say, don't count Uber Eats out. I'm sure they will be back at it in no time and getting those championship belts back. Also, like this card, I'm telling you, it was about a changing of the guard because for the International Princess Championship, Susumi defeated Mirai to win the International Princess title. Like I say, this show was huge, and it was a huge change in the guard. Like, very rarely do you get that many title changes on a show. But you could even dub this like a triple main event, I would say, on this show. And all of the champions were defeated. So congratulations to Susumi. She's really kind of been up and coming. Of course, running the Prince of Princess tournament to get this shot. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where TJPW goes from here with all these new champions. And of course you still got your classic, your standbys, with your Mia Watanabes, with your Mia Yamshitas, just to name a few. But new champions across the board in TJPW. We also got to talk about this matchup. So in a mixed tag match, Konosuke Takeshita would make his TJPW debut, teaming up with his wife, Yuka Sakazaki, to go up against the much beloved, in my opinion, Hyper Masao and Super Sasadangi Machine. I know I butchered that probably, but this match is fun, is the best way I can describe it. There's a lot of comedy in the beginning of it, especially with like Hyper Masao and Super, like they're doing this like ridiculous promo of how they're gonna try to beat the real life couple of Takeshita, and it's just funny, absolutely funny. And the match was tremendous, man. There was like a lot of back and forth. I was really impressed, and I've always loved Hyper Masao. But man, she had some moments here, especially towards the end, where you're just like, oh my gosh, man. But Takeshita and Yuka Sakazaki would pick up the win here in this mixed tag team matchup. But it was another tremendous matchup on this card. and we've talked about the greatness in the wrestling, but my gosh, one thing that makes TJPW so great, in my opinion, is the comedic element that they bring to the table. And trust me, there was plenty of that on this show. Of course, we've got a new DDT Iron Man champion, and it was making their pro wrestling debut, as we have the new champion is I'm sorry, I'm trying to forget, Sumeri Yusaki, winning the DDT championship. So here's the thing, like, her background, she is actually a voice actor over in Japan on a lot of Japanime and stuff. So couldn't tell you the show, don't know what it is off the top of my head. But this match was bonkers. It was the dubbed the Iron Man Heavy Metal DDT Delayed Entry Battle Royale. Okay. Well, before the Battle Royal even started, the DDT champion Antonio Honda was defeated by Raku because she pinned him while he was taking a nap in the locker room. So yeah, that happened. I think there was at least a dozen title changes in this. So if you're not familiar with this DDT, it's like the equivalent of, like, back in the day, the WWF like hardcore title. Okay. So pretty much can change hands at any times. A lot of craziness. So nonetheless, we have, like I say, we have a new DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal champion, and it's Sumeri Yusaki. This card was bonkers too, with some of the other stuff that happened as well. First off, Reggie's excited, but no. First off, the representation of the Super Sentai, which, if you're not familiar, Super Sentai, of course, over here to us, it's the Power Rangers. As they were in the corner of Haru Kasashiro, Shoko Nakajima, and Yuki Aino, as they successfully defeated Aja Kong, Palm Haruko, and Fene. And of course, they had the bad guys from Super Sentai was in their corner. So good stuff there. And oh yes, Andrade the Giant Panda was on this show as well. So if you're not familiar, kids, yes, it is a giant 7-foot or 8-foot tall panda, like a guy in like the blow up suit or girl, whatever. But anyways, Musuki did successfully defeat Andrade the Giant Panda in an all-time classic. It's gonna be up there with Steamboat Savage, Hart and Michaels, Austin Rock, and then right in the same line, they're gonna be talking about Musuki and Andrade the Giant Panda. But man, like I say, this was a loaded show. If you're not already doing so, go over and subscribe to the Wrestle Universe app, where you can watch this show as part of your subscription. So, but TJPW, man, they are on fire right now. And recently, they just got done doing a tour of Texas, and I have to say these shows were awesome. And you know why they were mainly awesome is because of the crowd response. The crowd was ridiculously into it. They did 2 days in Austin. They worked Dallas, Houston. I got to see the Houston show. The Houston show was awesome. Like, that crowd was incredible. And the venue was pretty cool too, man. Like, just everything about it was very. So when these shows go on, man, what's cool about it is and I apologize, my dog Reggie is going ape shit. I don't know why. But when these shows happen, like it's such an intimate viewing that like the crowd is like super hyped into it. You have the up girls that come out to start the show. It's already just like a killer vibe. I myself have been to a couple TJPW shows, and I got to tell you, it's an amazing time. So to see them come here and tour by themselves in the States is awesome. I hope they do it more, and I think they can successfully have some amazing tours over here. So, like I say, if you're not doing so, check out Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling over on the Wrestle Universe app, where you can access all these Texas shows as well as the Grand Princess show. All right, speaking of Japan, let's keep it there, and let's talk about the New Japan Cup has come to a conclusion, and history has been made, folks, as Callum Newman has won the New Japan Cup, and he is officially the youngest person to ever win the New Japan Cup. So congratulations to him and United Empire. This young man, he's very boisterous, he's very cocky. I gotta be honest, I didn't see him winning this tournament. I was pulling for like a Shota Umino Uemura final, but it didn't happen. But nonetheless, Callum Newman, he is on a collision course now for the IWGP Championship, and that matchup will take place at Sakura Genesis. But speaking of Sakura Genesis and the United Empire, this is gonna be very interesting, folks, because it was officially announced Will Ospreay will be returning to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he will be teaming up with his United Empire stablemates Hanare and the Great Okan, and they're going to be going up against Yuya Uemura, Taishi, and El Desperado. And on this same card, too, that night, United Empire may be running away with it, because in the main event, it is going to be your New Japan Cup winner, Callum Newman, challenging Yota Tsuji for that IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be very interesting to see, because if you've been watching New Japan, when Ospreay was out there at New Year's Dash, it looked like Newman was going to go after Ospreay. So how's he going to feel about Ospreay returning on what could be the biggest night of his career? It's going to be very interesting to see that. I mean, the seeds have already been planted, in my opinion. I feel like possibly maybe a Forbidden Door matchup between Ospreay and Newman could be on the horizon, but we'll find out after Sakura Genesis. Tremendous card already, though. In addition to those matches, you're going to see the KO brothers defend the IWGP Tag Team Championship against TMDK's Ryo Owai and Zack Sabre Jr. Also, we've got the New Japan World Television title will be up for grabs, with Takeshita defending against Shota Umino. And your Never Open 6-man tag team championships will be on the line as well, with Bushiman teaming up with Oleg Boltin to take on House of Torture's Chase Owens, Ren Narita, and Yujiro Takahashi. Some of the big title matches for Genesis. Of course, we mentioned Will Ospreay making his return A lot of big tag matches. You got United Empire going up against Unbound Company, which is still fucking weird name. You've got some other trios matches and tag matches on this show as well, and that'll be coming up on April the 4th. Will be Sakura Genesis, and of course we'll have the results from that show for you here on PW60. Well, let's talk about Dynamite from this past Wednesday. We kicked it off. We started off with a bang as Kenny Omega would go up against Swerve Strickland, and a lot was on the line in this matchup, of course. If Kenny wins, he becomes the number one contender for the AEW World Championship. However, if Swerve wins, he got that EVP status. Well, somehow the Best Bout Machine was able to even this series between them at 1-1, and he is now your number one contender for the AEW World Championship, and will challenge Maxwell Jacob Friedman for that title coming up at Dynasty. It's going to be interesting. There'll be a tremendous matchup, I'm sure. It's going to be interesting, too, like what's Swerve going to be up to now? Because Swerve's going to have his eyes on that. He's probably going to be involved in it somehow. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Also on Dynamite from this past week, you had Tekla successfully retain her AEW Women's Championship against Mina Shirakawa. Darby Allin and Roosh go at it in a no countout matchup. Of course, the Don Callis family making their voices heard in that one. We also had the Death Riders go up against Hometown Boys Top Flight. And of course, being there in Minnesota. And then we got Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong going up against the Dogs. A pretty solid show there on Dynamite, but just as equally as a solid of show was Collision from this past Saturday. Let's talk about that. Of course, you had pretty awesome. I love that we got Aussie Open. Like just seeing them. I know Kyle Fletcher obviously and Dunk Sill are kind of doing their own thing, but it's great to see them still as a tag team. But going up against the Rascals, kind of a dream matchup, sort of. But the big story coming out of that one, though, is Kyle Fletcher. It looks like he was hurt. We don't have an update or know the status of the injury. My understanding is I believe he was walking around in a walking boot, so we'll keep you posted on that, but hope to God that young Kyle Fletcher is okay. Also on this show, we got a tremendous matchup with Tommaso Ciampa going up against Ace Austin. We have Myron Reed going up against Johnny TV, which I'm always excited to see Myron Reed. Always been a huge Myron Reed fan. Considering one of our guys coming here from the Midwest. And the Babes of Wrath were unsuccessful in trying to win back their women's tag team championships against Divine Dominion. So I don't know. Willow's got her hands full with the TBS championship. So it was a tremendous one for Babes of Wrath, but I don't know. I don't know if they will ever be the champions again. What happens to Harley from here? We'll have to wait and see what happens. But of course, Collision was awesome, and we're on that road to Dynasty, which is coming up here April the 12th, Sunday, April 12th, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. And already signed. It's an incredible card with just three matches alone. It's worth the admission. As I mentioned before, the AEW World Championship will be on the line with MJF defending against Kenny Omega. Your AEW Tag Team Championships will be on the line as well, with FTR defending those championships against Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. And big grudge match here. Will Ospreay one-on-one with Jon Moxley. Of course, Will Ospreay has got to go up against the Death Riders Pack this weekend on Dynamite. So it'll be interesting what happens here in the couple weeks we have left until Dynasty. But already Dynasty is shaping up to be one hell of a card, and cannot wait to see what's going to happen there. So, well, let's talk about Ring of Honor, as they had a pretty big week. Of course, we got to start off with Honor Club, and Persephone picking up a big win and retaining her CMLL Women's Championship against Lacey Lane took place. We also got to see Skyflight go up against Grizzled Young Veterans and Isla Dawn. As I said before, anytime you get Myron Reed in action is awesome. He went up against Mansoor on this show. And then, of course, we had Deonna Purrazzo against Robin Renegade in a Proving Ground matchup. But what everybody's really talking about is Friday night. ROH teamed up with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for Global Wars Canada took place. And this was a tremendous show. A lot of championships on the line in this one. You did have Red Velvet successfully retain her ROH Women's TV Championship over Alice Crawley, Big Al. Tremendous opening contest there. Also, we had your Women's Pure Champion, Diana Perazzo, successfully retain over MLP Women's Champion Giselle Shaw. And we also had Athena retain her ROH Women's Championship over Taylor Rising. And speaking of women's championships, those were the 3 championships on the line. But speaking of champions, we did crown the first ever MLP Canadian Tag Team Champions, as it was a fatal 4-way where the Good Brothers would pull out the win against Kaito Kiyomiya and Bishop Dyer, Gates of Agony and Bryce Hansen, and Sheldon Jean. And also Michael Oku getting a big win in a 6-pack scramble matchup. But it was just a solid wrestling show. It's showing you, of course, we know how great ROH is, but a lot of fans not as familiar with Maple Leaf Pro. But they had a tremendous weekend. But the biggest announcement for them was this: Maple Leaf Pro Mayhem. They will be getting their own show exclusively in Canada on TSN, the sports network, for any of our brothers and sisters north of the border from us. This is exciting news to see professional wrestling once again on Canadian television. That's very apropos. It's where it should be. I think what Scott D'Amore and Maple Leaf Pro have done in the past year or so has been very impressive to see. They've got a great product, great presentation. Also, too, by the way, on this show, talk about a dream team, Mauro Ranallo teaming up with Ian Riccaboni. Like, I love the commentary on this show. It was freaking awesome. So this is available actually over on Triller TV. You can buy the pay-per-view replay of it. And you know what? Honestly, it's worth it because it was a tremendous show, to say the least. But congratulations to Maple Leaf Pro on getting their own show there in Canada. And hopefully they can get their own show here in the States, too, as well. But it's exciting news for them. It's great to see weekly pro wrestling action on Canadian television. Well, the Collective is upon us, folks. It's just 3 weeks away, so it's that time of the show. Let's go to the Collective Control Center with an update on some of the several matches you will see throughout the Collective.
Welcome back to GCW's The Collective Control Center here on PW60. GCW's The Collective comes to you live from the Horseshoe Casino in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, April 15th to the 18th, and here are some of the matches already signed. On Wednesday, April 15th, Dragon Gate USA returns with the Gate of Sin City. Yamamoto takes on Jonathan Gresham. Susumu Yokosuka battles Marcus Mather. In a 3-way tag match, Busta and the Brain battle Love and Peace and the Panther Brothers. Action picks up on Thursday, April 16th with Progress Chapter 193. Man Like Doris will battle Michael Oku. Subculture will take on Kuro and Tommy Tanner. Paul Walter Hauser will defend his Proteus Championship. In Fatal 4-Way action, Emerson Jane takes on Lena Cross, Renee Michelle, and Mercedes Martinez. Ethan Allen will meet Leo Rush as part of the Men's Super Strong Style 16 tournament. And Rio will battle Furt Fixin as part of the Women's Super Strong Style 16 tournament. On Thursday, April 16th at 8 p.m., it is the Dex Vegas Invitational, already signed. A Love and Pieces 3-way death match. Nick Gage and Matt Tremont will battle El Desperado and Jun Kasai, and Masasha Takeda and Rina Yamashita. The high-stakes heartbreak jackpot match is Dragon Kid and Starlight Kid battle El Phantasmo and Maki Ito. On Thursday, April 16th at midnight, it is MDK Fight Club. In a no-rope barbed wire match, Slade will battle Cruel. Vipers will meet Rina Yamashita and Charlie Evans in a triple threat match. Hayabusa and Masato Tanaka will take on Bear Bronson and Mr. Danger. And making a very special appearance is Deathmatch legend and Joshi Icon Megumi Kudo. Action picks up on Friday, April 17th at 11 a.m. with Gringo Locos, The World on Lucha. Galena Del Mal will take on Jack Cartwheel. The Mexa Boys will meet Malafama and Rey Juarez. Team Dragon Gate will meet Team Gringo. And Thunder Rosa will meet Julissa Mexa. On Friday, April 17th at 3 p.m., it's Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 15. Mia Yamashita meets Janai Kai. Eric Stevens battles Funora Abe. Masisha Takeda battles Pete Dunne. Joe Dasu battles Uka Sasaki. Royce Isaacs meets Shane Mercer. Zack Sabre Jr. battles Ray Jays. Angel Fernusco battles Matt Mako. Timothy Thatcher will meet Charlie Dempsey. And Shayna Baszler will battle Natty Neidhart. On Friday, April 17th at 7 p.m., it's the biggest independent wrestling show of the year, Joey Janela's Spring Break 10. Making his in-ring singles debut, Brody Lee Jr. will battle Joey Janela. In trios action, it will be Bustin' the Brain and Marcus Mathers battling the Rascals. Atticus Cogar will defend the GCW World Championship against Hayabusa. It's the Sandman's last match as the Sandman battles the Invisible Man. And in a loser leaves GCW match, Effie battles Alley Catch. And action kicks off on Saturday, April 18th at 11 a.m. with Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Mercedes Martinez will battle Cypress. Nyla Rose will meet Dark Sheik. Mad Dog Conley will take on Brick Savage. In a Fib Fatale 4-way will be Charlie Evans battling Alley Catch, Steph DeLander, and Kid Bandit. And it will be Pero's Highway to Hell, the Parade of Punishment, Twinks Unleashed. In a dream match, Effie will meet Zack Sabre Jr. for the first time ever. And action concludes on Saturday night at 10 p.m. with the Immortal Clusterfuck. The GCW Ultraviolet title will be on the line in a Hardcore Kingdom Steel Cage match, with Otis Cogar defending against Matt Tremont. And of course, the Immortal Clusterfuck will take place. Participants so far include Ricky Sosa, Santana Jackson, Slade, Beastman, Viperous, Cruel, The Green Phantom, Spider Nate Webb, Matt Mako, Pero, Human Tornado, Mr. Insanity Toby Klein, Starman, Tombstone Jesus, Mullet Man, Bobby Flacco, Tara Seth, Sam Holloway, Dr. Redacted, Man Like DeReese, and KJ Orso. GCW's The Collective, in collaboration with WrestleCon, comes to you April 15th to 18th, live from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada at the Horseshoe. And don't forget to check out Cole TV starting on April 20th for the Collective Week.
Yes, that's right. The Collective is upon us. Of course, I will be out there April 15th to the 18th, all the shows. So if you see me, stop, say hi, man. Cannot wait for the Collective. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And the only reason I'd really go out to Vegas for wrestling that weekend. I'm just saying. And well, that's not entirely true because of all the other amazing wrestling action, except for what's going on at the Raiders Stadium. There. All right. That being said, speaking of the Collective and the build to the Collective, my goodness gracious, we got to talk about this. The Sandman was violently attacked during an interview as they were him and Joey Janela were promoting Spring Break by none other than his opponent at Spring Break, the Invisible Man. The Invisible Man going to no ends, laying out the Sandman before their matchup. I mean, the Invisible Man wanting to get the one up here on the Sandman. I get it, you know, but I think this may just have went a little too far. Of course, follow the Sandman, then him and his buddies tried to jump him in a parking lot and run him down, but that didn't really work for him. But anyways, nonetheless, things are really heating up on the road to the Collective. Speaking of which, our good buddy, the Best Gout Machine's got some thoughts on this and just thoughts in general about the crazy week that happened this past week in the world of pro wrestling. So that being said, let's go to the Best Gout Machine.
P-Dub City, and is I the notorious BGM. And I was assigned to talk about... Love the haircut! Why, thank you. Happy you noticed. I was here to talk about CM Punk, talking about Jizz, and the great jizz moments throughout the world of wrestling. And then I realized, A, I don't watch WWE anymore. You know, I'm all about, fuck the Fed, today, tomorrow, forever. And also, there's not much to talk about when it comes to jizz. Except for, the AJ Styles shirt that looked like someone splooged all over it. It could have been me. It's a lot of volume. Like, that is a frothy batch. You see, I want to talk... Wait, hold up, I'm invisible. I want to talk about Joey Janela's Spring Break and the Sandman's last and final match against the Invisible Man. We're going to see man versus man. A Sandman versus an Invisible Man, who I'm convinced is real, not the same guy from the Universal movies, and also not Hollow Man starring Kevin Bacon. No, this is an actual Invisible Man who has had a reign of terror in the wrestling world over the years. And his reign of terror continued when they were being interviewed. Joey Janela and the Sandman were being interviewed on a show. I don't think that's Lex Luger. Well, they were getting attacked. He was attacked, old school fashion. You start a feud with someone, you're going to continue it. And this could not have been a friendly feud. No, fucking Invisible Man attacked the Sandman, brutalized him live on air. Shame on him. I will fucking fuck that man up if I ever meet him. But I'm excited to see Sandman versus the Invisible Man in the coming weeks at Joey Janela's Spring Break during the GCW The Collective, which I will not be at, for I am working. I'm going to somehow blame this on the Invisible Man, because he's a little bitch. He's a little... He's here! He's in my house! What's that wet stuff? Oh God! The Invisible Man, he's jizzing on me! He's jizzing all over me! And he's stealing my comic books! When will his tyranny end?
God, if I had a dime for every time the Invisible Man broke into my house, jizzed on me, and stole my comic books, I would have a dime. Oh, thank you so much, Best Gal. I hope you're okay, buddy, and recovered. And my God, what the hell? In 2026, we're talking about jizz in pro wrestling. Anywho, let's talk about segue, right? Let's talk about Progress Wrestling as they held their next chapter. It was chapter 192, Cause and Effect. And this was a pretty good show. Of course, you can catch a replay over on Triller TV. A lot happened on this show. First off, we have new Progress World Tag Team Champions as the Young Guns, Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs, would defeat Diamond Eyes, Jay Joshua and Nico Angelo, to win those championship belts. Of course, if you've been watching Progress, Diamond Eyes had a stranglehold on those tag team championships for over the past 6 months, pretty much. So we have new tag team champions. But the big thing everybody's talking about, the main event, Man Like Darius successfully retaining his Progress World Championship against Kid Lycos. But the horrific action that happened after this matchup, Cara Noir coming out and smashing the Progress title with a sledgehammer. I mean, this rivalry between Noir and Darius has been going on for what feels like almost a year now at this point. And it's going to come to a head in the future, as it's been announced that there will, in fact, be a no disqualification match between the two in the near future. So, but your Progress World Men's Champion is Man Like Darius. Of course, to be fair, he did kind of poke the bear earlier in the night as Charles Crawley went one-on-one against Cara Noir and had a little help from Man Like Darius. Of course, lights went out, lights come back on. Man Like Darius is in the referee attire and pretty much cost Cara Noir that matchup. By the way, Charles Crawley and Cara Noir was a tremendous matchup, too, on this show as well. Like, so similar and yet so unique styles. You also had Emerson Jane just beat the hell out of Holly Barlow to advance in the Super Strong 16 Women's Tournament. That's just a little bummer because I love Holly Barlow along with Lana Austin, man. But it is what it is. You also had G Money successfully retain his Progress Atlas Championship against Nathan Black on this show. Speaking of champions retaining, Progress Women's Champion Alexis Falcon would defeat legend in the world of pro wrestling, Mercedes Martinez. And I believe Mercedes was actually making her Progress debut. But all that you can catch on the replay over on Triller TV of Progress's chapter 192, Cause and Effect. But man, it was a huge weekend for the over in the UK or over in Europe for pro wrestling action because ICW yesterday held their, I'm going to try to pronounce this right, So's Your Ma and Your Da as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's like an Irish thing, I guess. But dude, this show was freaking awesome, man. I had the privilege of watching this show yesterday live, and that main event, holy shit, was it good. You had the ICW World Championship on the line. Rio, who has been a dominant champion, she probably had the toughest challenge she's had to date, I would say. And Leighton Buzzard came very close to pulling out the win, but Rio, nonetheless, would successfully retain the ICW World Championship. Now, the aftermath of this one is what a lot of people are talking about, because if you watch ICW, you know Mark Coffey won this year's Square Go. Now, if you're not familiar, the Square Go pretty much entitles you. It's kind of like the version of like the winning the Casino Gauntlet or winning like the men's Money in the Bank or women's Money in the Bank, whatever. You get a guaranteed title shot anytime you want it, pretty much. So, that being said, Mark Coffey, during his match with Saxon Huxley, Landon Riley came out and attacked Coffey and stole his Square Go briefcase. At the end of the night, Landon Riley shows up, attacks Rio with the briefcase, trying to cash in, but dumbass, you don't have the briefcase. The briefcase does not belong to you, sir. That belongs to Mark Coffey. So Mark Coffey would come out, make the save, chase Landon Riley off. Of course, Landon still got the briefcase. But there's this moment between Rio and Mark Coffey where it's just like, okay, are they going to go at it? Which, good God, if that match happens, which it will, that's going to be tremendous. But man, what a main event, a great world championship matchup to close out a pretty spectacular show. You also have new ICW tag team champions as the Dangerous Brothers, Kez Evans and BT Gunn, would defeat Arcade Violence and KOE to win those tag championships. Man, oh man, what a last man standing match between Dylan Thorne and Jason Reed. Would actually end up in a draw, so neither man could answer the count. Wolfgang would successfully retain his Zero G championship against Judas Gray. But you can catch a replay of this show over on Triller TV as well, man. Triller's got all of your European action covered. Speaking of which, they also got this covered too. WXW's We Love Wrestling 16 Karat Gold Revenge took place, and this was a tremendous show too. In the main event, you had Elijah Bloom successfully retaining his unified World Wrestling title over Bobby Guns. You also had Dennis Dooling retain the Shotgun Championship against Amito. And this tag team of the Cowboy Way, One Called Manders and Thomas Shire, would defeat 1010 Next Level. A lot of tremendous action. If you're not watching WXW, you should check them out too, especially when they have any type of tournament, man. It's really good stuff. Highly recommend it. But a lot of stuff going on there, like I say, over in Europe. But we also got to acknowledge this, man. Alexis Falcon is just running wild over the UK scene. I got the privilege of watching her live a couple of years ago, along with her partner Charles Crawley as part of the Cheeky Month. But man, night and day difference. This young lady has changed from then to now. Of course, she did defeat Mercedes Monet for one of Mercedes' many championships. She would go on to defeat Alex Windsor for the Rev Pro title. She's also the Progress Women's Champion. And guess what, folks? She's our Wrestler of the Week here on PW60 is one Alexis Falcon. Man, she is dominating the European championship, women's championship scene right now. If you've never watched her before, go check out some of her matches. Go follow her on Instagram and all of her socials. She is a phenomenal, phenomenal competitor, to say the least. Speaking of UK wrestling, we got to talk about this. The Colfie brothers, Mark and Joe, and Wolfgang has officially signed with MLW. So they're going to be a part of Major League Wrestling. Of course, they're doing a lot of stuff right now with ICW over in Scotland and Ireland and whatnot. And of course, I probably butchered that. I'm sorry to our friends over there. So, but anyways, nonetheless, great to see the former Gallus that we're still going to be able to see them in here in North America, because those guys just, I don't think nearly got. Well, I know they didn't nearly get the type of push they should have got in NXT and stuff. Like the stuff they're doing in the UK, NXT UK was fine, but it's great to see them. It's going to be interesting to see how they run wild MLW. We'll see what happens there. So, also got to acknowledge this. We have a new CMLL World Heavyweight Champion, as Hechicero has defeated Claudio Castagnoli to win that championship. I love me some Hechicero, and I think it's very appropriate that he is now your CMLL World Champion. That man deserves it. He has been killing it for the past couple of years. It's been great seeing him in AEW, but it's awesome that he is now your CMLL World Champion. And hey, guess what? The Don Callis family has added yet some more gold to their family. No surprise there. Speaking of Claudio, though, the former champion, it did come out that he's officially signed with CMLL. Now, this is kind of like a similar deal like you're seeing with like Hechicero and like with Mystico and stuff, where they're working a lot in AEW, but also working the same amount in CMLL. The same can be said here too for Claudio. Also, Claudio did say, like, even after losing the championship, that he's probably still going to like come out with the mask and stuff, even like here in North America too. So that's pretty cool, man. I mean, it's Claudio, man. Anywhere he goes, he's going to freaking kill it. But seeing him in CMLL is going to be something special as well. So congratulations to Claudio Castagnoli, and definitely congratulations to Hechicero, your new CMLL World Champion. Well, it was a big weekend here in my neck of the woods here in Indianapolis, as the Squared Circle Expo took place. A little bummed, unfortunately, we had prior engagements, could not make it to this year, but all of our friends and our family telling us it was an awesome time. They had some tremendous shows, including Black Label Pro returning to Squared Circle Expo again. It was Black Label Pros at SCX4. In your main event, you had Kevin Koo successfully retain the Black Label Pro Championship against Taka Michinoku. Also, the show kicked off with a tremendous matchup with Jake Ullman successfully retaining the Squared Circle Championship against Sidney Akeem. You had some great matches. Davey Boy Smith Jr. against Isaiah Bronner, the big meaty men slapping meat right there. Nate Webb going up against Mickey Knuckles. That's a wild one, to say the least. Also, you got Chris Masters in action against Dex Royal. Solid show. Of course, the action continued at Squared Circle Expo on Saturday night with their big one, the Squared Circle Expo Circle City. Cool thing is, you can actually catch the replay of this. Not only is it on the Premiere Network, but I believe you can actually catch it over on their YouTube channel as well. But man, this was a loaded show, to say the least. Some of the highlights: you do have a new Squared Circle Expo Women's Champion, as Shotzi Blackheart would win a 4-way. Also, Jake Ullman, man, he had a busy weekend. He successfully retained his championship again against Davey Boy Smith Jr. Now, originally was scheduled to be Bandito, but due to some traveling issues, could not make the show. But Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Jake Ullman put on a classic. There were some wild matches on this show too, like Jack Fawn going against Matt Riddle. And also you had a battle of the big men, of course, with Big Trouble, Ben Bishop, going up one-on-one against your MLW World Champion, Killer Cross. So, like I say, you can catch a replay of this over on their YouTube channel, as well as on the Premiere Network. And action rounded out Sunday in Indianapolis with Naptown Pros out the gate. Got a dream matchup in the main event with Taka Michinoku going up against our local boy, Josh Crane, which, if you're not familiar with Danger Man, he has been killing it all throughout the Midwest here this past year. This was a dream matchup for him, and my understanding, it was a hell of a matchup, to say the least, with Josh Crane going up against Taka Michinoku. So, awesome weekend for Indianapolis. I'm telling you, like, I'm so privileged to like be here in the state and to be a part of like all the amazing action I got going on in Indianapolis. Like I said, a little bummed, unfortunately, had to miss this year's, but I'm sure we'll be back at it again next year. So, but awesome action. Congratulations to everybody who was a part of Squared Circle this past weekend. Really helping put Indianapolis on the map as one of the premier wrestling destination cities, to say the least. Hey, we got to talk about this, folks. So Ricochet and his controversy tweets. Yeah, this wasn't good. This wasn't good. I mean, there's a lot of opinions on this one. I mean, number one, what he said was just, that was way too fucking ridiculous. But then again, it's pro wrestling. Wrestlers say ridiculously shit all the time, like, and do ridiculous things. You talk about like a MJF, for example, man. I mean, a guy who lives his character, who is always in character. I mean, I've seen him in autograph signings and stuff treat like handicapped kids like shit, but that's kind of like what's expected of him. So it's a weird fucking double standard. I don't know. Like, it's just it's definitely, I would not have went as far. I feel like with Ricochet, it's like he's been pushed around and shit on his whole life, and this is now him truly finally just saying like, fuck you all, I hate you all because you fucking made me this way. Isn't that right, Clay? Yeah, I don't like I say, it's definitely touching on a disease that somebody has. That's pretty fucked up. But it's the world of pro wrestling where a lot of fucked up shit happens. Not justifying it by any means, but I'm not shocked it happened. I mean, it did come out with a half-ass apology, I guess. So I don't know. As long as like stuff was maybe settled between them behind the closed doors or something, because I mean, like that's something I would be extremely apologetic about. But what's done is done, and the picture has been painted, unfortunately, in this case. So you hate to see it, but it's the world we live in. Speaking of hating to see in the world we live in, what the actual fuck? Okay, so this story broke out over the weekend. Cruel, who a lot of people familiar with, former MLW world champion, of course, competed in GCW, competes in a lot of death matches. At a show this past weekend, a crazed fan attempted to stab Cruel at a Ruthless Pro Wrestling event in Illinois. I saw the video footage. I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? I mean, it's obviously plain as day. Like, people can say, oh, the guy was drunk or whatever, but I mean, for you to go that far, I feel like there's some mental issues there. So this is my understanding on the whole situation of how I've heard it's been recounted. And I don't know if this is verbatim what happened, but apparently before the show, this fan had approached Cruel at his merch table, just having a casual conversation with him, and was discussing like his merch and stuff and his prices. And apparently this upset the fan. He had some choice words to say and pretty much left. Now, as the show progresses, apparently he was sitting in the front row or had front row seats. And there's a stare down with him and Cruel again. I believe there was a spot during the show where Cruel ended up near this gentleman or touched the gentleman or something, but not in a violent way or anything. Just like, the action happens. And then I guess at the end of the night is when this shit really went down. And he had choice words for him again. And apparently tried to stab him, I guess. I don't know. Like, well, once again, I don't know the truth to this, if he really was stabbed. I've heard some people say, like, his abdomen got, like, scratched or stabbed or something. And I'm sure some people say that's not the case. But there is video evidence of the crowd, of the wrestlers just going after this guy, and it's like this guy's lucky as shit that he did not get seriously injured, because I mean, if some of those shots had landed, yeah, he would have been fucked beyond belief. But you hear stories of shit like this way back in the day, but obviously we're in a different time now than like the 60s or 70s. Long removed from the days of like the little old lady with the brick in her purse or whatever, you know. Just fucking don't do shit like this. Don't be dumb. Like I don't want to read or see a story like this again. It's just completely random and out of the blue. Speaking of random, let's go to Brian with Brian's Random Moment of the Week here on PW60.
You know, Loverboy said it best. Everybody is working for the weekend, but I'm working on the weekend. It's part of my job and whatnot. Anyway, that's cool. All right, back in with my random moment of the week. And this thought came to mind just recently. And I was thinking about wrestling in the past. I was thinking about some matches with like Cactus Jack, you know, thinking about Mick Foley and his career. But it got me thinking about a more general topic question, but yet specific. And I want you to comment below, and I want to hear the opinions of the Wrestle Talk creators on here as well. Here we go. When did you first, a couple of questions with it. When did you first start watching pro wrestling? If so, you have a specific date, or kind of like, well, it was like 1990 or 91 or whatever year, kind of whatnot. And also, what drew you into professional wrestling? Was it the moves at that time? Was it the characters? What was it that intrigued you to make you love pro wrestling? For myself, I started around, I don't remember an exact date, somewhere in like 1990 into 1991. Some friends of mine were watching pro wrestling, especially the WCW. And of course, I saw Sting, obviously one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I saw so many cool things there, you know, Ric Flair, and then eventually I found the WWF when they had some shows on the USA Network, and would watch some of that as well, and keep up with, of course, you know, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, and all those as it kept going. So I'm just curious to know, comment below, let me know, let us all know, when did you first start watching pro wrestling, and what drew you in to the sport that we love? Have yourself a great rest of the week.
That is a great question, Brian. I tell you, for me, like I started, it was like multiple time frames, but like the one I kind of remember the most was like in '93, where I really like started watching it full time. But yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know what got you into professional wrestling. Well, this is a big story coming out this week. MJF. He's been talking smack, and so is Nick Nemeth, and they are finally going to meet for the first time ever one-on-one. Nick Nemeth, MJF, will take place at a Creative Pro Wrestling. So I don't believe the exact date's been set yet. I could be mistaken on that, but it'll be coming up here in the near future, so that is going to be awesome to see. If you watch Busted Open, you know Nick Nemeth has had some choice words about one Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And of course, MJF, and had a lot of fun things to say about Nick Nemeth, to say the least. So this should be an awesome matchup, though. I'm sure this is a dream matchup for MJF. I'm getting to go one-on-one with Nick Nemeth, so be exciting to see. And our last story this week's a sad one. We lost another one of the all-time greats. Dennis Condrey, one of the founding fathers of the Midnight Express, one of the greatest tag teams in all pro wrestling history, has sadly passed away. I tell you, man, like a lot of people talked about the Midnight Express over the years as like one of the great tag teams, and they really are. Bobby Eaton's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like many say he's the greatest tag team wrestler of all time, and I agree with that. But I want to say this. If Bobby Eaton didn't start off under the learning tree of a Dennis Condrey, I don't know how successful his career would have been. Like Dennis Condrey was a workhorse. Dennis Condrey was a tremendous talent, phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal in getting heat. Absolutely love Bobby, adore Bobby, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. But Dennis Condrey, I think, doesn't get nearly enough love. as being a huge part of that tag team. And I think a lot of it too is like, you had the new reiteration of it later on in the 80s with Stan Lane replacing Condrey and teaming up with Bobby. But dude, if you don't have Dennis Condrey, you don't have a great Bobby Eaton, and you don't have like the Midnight Express. Because I mean he was a ring general at the time when Bobby was coming up. So I think much love to Dennis Condrey. Tremendous athlete, tremendous professional wrestler. Definitely going to be missed in the world of pro wrestling. Never going to be another one like him. No Jim Cornette, whether you love him or hate him, you hate to see this. He's got to be hurting. Knowing he's pretty much the last one left of the original Midnight Express. But our condolences go out here at PW60 to Dennis Condrey's family. And may he rest in peace and live on forever in the world of pro wrestling. All right. Well, come to an end here. Was flying solo and just got it in time in 60 minutes because I'm that damn good. No, I'm just saying. Thank you so much for joining me tonight here on PW60, and stay tuned. Here in a couple weeks, we'll be back with a new episode. We'll have the results from AEW Dynasty. We're going to talk about Sakura Genesis and so much more. And don't remember, the collective's right around the corner, so we'll be talking about that too as well. I'm Xlj the OG, and we'll see you next time on another episode of PW60. Everybody take care. Have a great week.